Hey guys. Wow, I can actually talk today. Coming in live. Actually, I wanted to say, message from the big head. For those who don't know what that is a reference to Third Rock from the Sun. It's an old TV show back in the 90s. It was a sitcom. I don't remember any of their names, but it was funny. But they were like these space aliens who came down to Earth, crash landed, and were trying to find a way to get home while living amongst the humans. And one of them would receive psychic transmissions from their Mother Earth or whatever. And he would always just stop the quirky one. He would go, message from the big head. And I was like, oh, what? So, you had to be there. It was hilarious. I love those moments. So I think from this point on, message from the big head. Today we're talking about rest. And anything I speak about, it's because I've already done it, or I'm doing it. I will not talk about something I don't know, unless I'm told to. Then it gets complicated, but I'm in the process of learning to rest now. It has actually literally been a lifetime process, but more so these past 4 years. We have been taught in a society to not stop. Especially these days. Maybe some time ago it wasn't like this. But as society speeds up, we are expected to speed up. Now, there is actual... You want to go as far as saying whistleblowing. There's a dark theory as to why that is the case. But I'm not going to go into that. We're going to stay on the light side. But the reason this is really important, is because rest is super important. Yes, obviously you get it. If you work your body too much, you get sick and you have to take a break. That is a natural reaction to your body saying, I need rest. Well, guess what? There's spiritual rest, emotional rest, and we ignore those signs all the time. So like a mental collapse, like a crash out. That's a mental rest. That's a spiritual rest. We need rest. So we burn the fuck out. And then it's like, oh no, what happened? Why did I crash? That's because your body is telling you to take a break and you're not listening. I am prime example. I am a hypocrite. I am acknowledging this. Because this is every single day. My body's like, take a break. I'm like, no, I want to do stuff. I have energy. I want to draw, and I want to go out, and I want to go do this. And your body's like, no, sit down. You're in pain. But we refuse because we're scared. We don't listen to our bodies and we override it. And then it gets to the point we don't have a choice. Either our body knocks us out completely and says we're done. We're done. Like done. Or your body's a little softer about it and goes, alright, we're just gonna get a little sick, knock him on his butt. I mean, point being, if your body needs a break, it will happen. Or you will break. Either give your body a break or you will break. Give yourself a break or you will break. However, sometimes the breaking is necessary. That's a whole different topic. But I'm learning it, and what I have learned specifically is it's not just important to rest and rejuvenate, but it's important to create space. Space is the whole purpose of rest. It's like a train station. You get on the train and you go. You're going at like 100 miles, 200 miles. I don't even know. I'm not a trainologist. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at my own joke. I'm not an engineer. I don't know how fast they actually go. But you get on the train and it's going so fast. Although the people in the train don't know. But it's an analogy. So you're the train, and you're going 100, 200 miles an hour, and then you stop at the next stop. Well, imagine trains that didn't have to do that. This thing's just gonna keep going nonstop, and it's overworked. Well, it's a train, that's okay. Even a train still needs a break. But we're also taught to ignore it. We're taught to ignore ourselves. So when we need a break, we ignore it, then we crash out and we burn out and we flip out. And then we're like, oh, why did this happen to me? Some of us know, but some of us don't care. Some of us know, like, oh my God, I need a break, but this has to get done, this has to get done. Fear is driving us. We need to do this now. The other part is to process. So I'm on a break right now. I'm in an energy of rest. And again, I've always been one of those go, 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 go. Balls to the wall. Sonic the Hedgehog, gotta go fast. I mean, most ADHD people these days, that's just how we are. High strung and gotta go, can't sit still. Even finally up into this last year, it's finally clicking. Because they spoke to me, when I say they, my spirit team, angels, whatever, spoke to me through art. So I felt like I hit a wall with art. I hit a ceiling, specifically. And I couldn't grow. And no matter what I was doing, I'm sitting there following the videos, drawing every day, whether it's actually pen to paper or I'm watching something or I'm nose to the grindstone. I'm burning the midnight oil can. I'm, working, overworking. And I wasn't actually getting anywhere. I was like, I don't understand. I've watched literally this specific video like 5 times. I followed the video. I'm doing the work. I'm doing the steps. Why is it not working? I'm doing the work, but the work isn't working. Why? It's because you didn't pause. I'm saying this with anger energy because it's like I'm talking to myself. It's because you didn't pause. In that pause is that space in which you create anything. It's the space of creation. Because then I decided, you know what? I'm done. I'm taking a break from art. Because what I used to do was draw every day for 30 days straight. And then I would burn out. I wouldn't be able to touch a pen and paper for like another month. And it would be a constant repeat of that process. Work, burnout. Work, burnout. But I didn't feel like I was actually learning. Well, recently, I moved apartments and I moved situations and stuff got crazy. And my setup wasn't actually a normal setup, so I didn't even have access to my computer, really. So I took 2 months off. 2 whole months. That drive in me is like, do art. How are you going to grow if you don't draw? And I was like, I can't right now. I need a break. Well, believe it or not, 2 months later, I've decided one day, randomly, during my break, so like I didn't decide to come back yet and start drawing again, I decided to just sketch and doodle. And I was like, well, I'm going to draw this figure. Something I struggle with, or I had struggled with. And I drew the figure and I'm just like, that was a lot easier and took a lot less time than it normally does. So I waited a couple more weeks until I finally got my station set up again and I went back into art. And holy crap, guess what? It clicked. Everything I did processed. It just took 2 months to process it. So the point is, if you're learning and growing in anything that requires expansion, you have to have the rest period too. And that's where I am right now, is I finally said, okay, all right, God, Spirit, Universe, I heard your call. You told me to rest. And I don't care. I'm going to rest. I don't care what the situation is. Because last time I didn't rest, holy crap, I got deja vu when I got the call to rest. It's like, Adam, you need to rest. And I was like, no. Wait, why do I feel like last time I ignored this call, something bad happened? That's because something bad happened. Oh. Is something bad going to happen if I ignore this call? Well, not necessarily you're going to be punished, but you won't enjoy the outcome. Okay, I guess I'm going to rest. Good boy. But while I'm in this rest period, I'm still learning to rest. It's like I have to actively sit down and fight myself. It's like, oh my god, I have a day off, get up and do stuff. Well, when are you going to find time to rest? I'll rest tomorrow. That's not how that works. Rest now. But I want to do this. That's great. Find time to do it. And find time to rest. Like this morning, I got up. You want to know the first thing I did? I didn't even touch my phone. I got up, made myself a cup of coffee, and I sat out on my patio. And I just sat there, squinting into the sun. When I say squinting, you see these blue peepers? You can't look at the sunlight. I can barely go outside without sunglasses. So I actually have to sit there in direct sunlight. I'm just always like this. Boy, the sunlight feels good. Can't see though. It's actually scalding my eyeballs, but hey, that's awesome. But I sat there and I enjoyed the sun. I enjoyed the moment. I enjoyed the peace, the rest. I know, we're so stuck in go mode. In fact, let me show you this or tell you this story from my personal life. I was about to take off my shoes like I'm getting comfortable. Story time, everybody relax. Alright, kids, gather around. I'm 32. I've started working when I was 18. And as of this point in my life, I don't get sick. There's a reason behind that, but without going into detail, I just don't get sick. I used to a lot, but now I don't. The only time I get sick is, guess what? When your body needs rest. And this is proof. I've proved it to myself, and this is how I noticed I needed rest. My first official job I ever worked was Kroger. I worked at a Kroger. I was a grocery cashier, and it was my first job. And my dad did this whole thing where, we get trained growing up to... Basically, I'm just going to tell you my training. I was programmed to work my ass off, shut the hell up, and put your head down. Literally said, go in, put your head down, and just do your job, make your paycheck, and get out. Those were almost his exact words. Always do what your boss needs, always work overtime. Do bootlicker. Lick your boss's boot. If he needs you to work overtime, yes sir. If he needs you to stay late, yes sir. That's what I was taught. And I did it. To the point I was getting sick all the time. Again, first job, and I couldn't quit. I actually had pneumonia. I worked so many hours and got sick that I actually had either pneumonia or the flu. It was either pneumonia or the flu. So finally I'm at work and I'm literally I'm not well, I can't stand up, I'm pale, I'm flush. No, flush is not the right. Anyways, I'm pale. I'm flush of color, let's go with that. And I was like, I can't do this. So finally they got me a chair. I get home, my dad's like, dude, you look horrible, what happened? Brought me to the doctor and I had the flu. I tried calling in. I tried to tell them I couldn't do it. They're like, no, you need to get into work. My dad's like, well, I guess you gotta get into work. I was like, Dad, look at me. He goes, I know, but you gotta get into work. I was like, so the next day I go into the doctor, got a doctor's note, and said, I'm not coming into work, I have the flu. But it's been a rinse and repeat. Even the last job, one of the most recent ones I keep talking about before I got fired was UPS. And of course, I'm not saying I didn't fuck up. I totally did. There are things I did that led to me getting fired. But this was also part of it, is I stopped working overtime. I was their go-to guy. I didn't have a life. I would always work. I didn't have friends. And they knew that. And I let them take advantage of it. And it got to a point where I was getting sick again every week because I was working 40 to 50 to almost 55, 60 hours. Because again, it became the yes man. Oh, I just worked 3 days in a row of, 40 hours. Not 40 hours every day, but in those 3 to 4 days, I've already made 40 hours and I'm still working. Because guess what? Before I left, so-and-so called in, Adam, you're staying, right? Yeah, I guess so. Adam, you're staying right. 3 years of that crap. I finally stood up and said, man, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting sick. There's got to be something more to this. Instead of running myself ragged, trying to earn $1. Like, I'm going to die if I keep doing this. So I told my boss, I'm like, I'm not overtiming anymore. And I was respectful, but I'm like, I'm not doing it. Look, I'm not responsible for that anymore. If you need someone to work, you call someone else. I don't care. I don't care. And I got my first paycheck, and I'm like, whoa, why is it so short? Well, I cut your hours, remember? I'm just like, you're right. And I could feel the animosity of the boss. Well, that's what your paycheck's going to look like now. I'm just like, okay, it's fine. You're right. I cut my hours, and I said, okay, that's it. And I hung up. In fact, I actually got COVID because of that, I think. I mean, I needed to get COVID. It was necessary, but... So I would literally work myself sick. That's not okay. It's not okay to do that to yourself. So not only is it important for your health and your well-being, but it's important to process and build and create. Say, for instance, you make cosplays. And, oh, that's great. Your apartment's full of wonderful, great creations that you made. Every single one of them is beautiful and you love them. But the issue is, if you don't get rid of them or let them go or move forward, is there won't be space to make more. You physically won't have space to move in your apartment. So if you don't create space, you won't have space to create anything. And there's also some more messaging here. For some reason, we're going to loop this around. Oh my god, I'm getting the chills. This is so cool. We're going to loop this around. On the bottom of the deck is the Fool, which is funny. I'm also going to get a little off topic here. I just got a new deck. Dark Crystals. I'm getting chills. This one called out to me too. Although I feel like all tarot decks are kind of the same because those are actually suit cards. It's like, the King of Swords, the Wand of Swords, blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying. They're all suit cards and every tarot deck is the same, typically. Not always, but typically. I decided to buy this one anyways. I was called to get it. I wanted to play with it. And I actually felt like doing it in this reading. But, other part of the story was, for some reason, I'm being called to talk about the eyes of the heart. Open up all 3 sets of your eyes. And you're like, wait a minute, what do you mean all 3 sets? Well, there's the eyes of your heart. The eyes of your heart in order to see love and opportunities and certain things like that. Your third eye, no. Love, there's opportunities in every category because there's abundance everywhere, but what I mean to say is basically, oh, there's the Hangman. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, there are the eyes of your heart, the eyes of your mind, and then your actual physical eyes. Open up the eyes of your heart so you can see the love and the magic that's around you. Open up the eyes of your mind so you can see the clarity and the wisdom that it provides you. Not just the eyes of the mind, but the magic and the love. See, all 3 eyes are required. I don't know if these are real things, I'm just being metaphorical. There is a third eye chakra, and that's important, but the eyes of the mind and the eyes of the heart. Because if you can see the love, you can see the magic. And you see the magic within the love. They're all correspondent. So then on top of that, use your own effing eyes, because we barely even do that. Again, I'm not trying to call people out. I can feel my energy getting aggressive. But it's coming from hypocriticalness. I do understand I was the same. I'm speaking from experience. Open your own eyes. And I wish I would have known this. This is one of those things I truly do wish I knew sooner. We all learn our lessons in due time. That isn't required and necessary. But if I honestly had to say, here is a request. Wickwet. Alright, Elmer Fudd. Wickwet. That was funny. I totally lost my train of thought. It's one of those, if you knew what you knew now. But if you knew what you knew now, then back then you wouldn't be the person that you are now. However, it still sucks. Totally lost my train of thought with that comment. So, use your own eyes. Because sometimes you can't even see what's around you. And what I mean by that is, in order to open the eyes of your heart and the eyes of your mind, you have to open your eyes first. And that is why I said it last. It'll make sense. Hold on. So, you actually have to do that first. Because if you don't see the love, or you don't see the wisdom, you don't see anything. You literally don't see anything. It's like a game of peekaboo. You know, we play this game as a child, and you cover not even the kid's eyes, you cover your eyes, so the kid can't see you. And you're like, where'd mommy go? And the kid's like, oh my God, where did they go? I can't see their face. Where are they? You know, that kind of belief. So it's one of those, if I don't see it, well then there's no way to believe it. Now, again, you can go into, belief isn't you see it to believe it. But I tell you what, once you start seeing it, it definitely helps you believe in it more. You don't have to see it to believe it, but being able to see it definitely reaffirms it and helps. Because it's like once you start noticing the opportunities, the wisdom, and the love, then it becomes a lot easier to see them on a regular basis. But if you don't see them in the first place, then it's not going to happen. Like, I remember depression. Depression kicked my ass. I was, and I say blind. Obviously, I use my eyes every day. I have to be able to use them. I'm not physically blind. But I was emotionally, spiritually, and everything else. My mind had closed off, and I had shut down myself to any opportunities around me. I was literally on autopilot. I'm just like, I'm so unhappy, I'm just here. I'm doing my day-to-day basis. Anytime someone was kind to me, I'd flip out. Because that's just how we're programmed in the beginning. But, okay, so maybe the cards are a little different. So if you don't open your eyes in the first place, then it's a lot more difficult. Now, you don't have to do it in the order. Do it in whatever order you so choose. You don't even have to do what I'm saying. I'm just offering advice based on my personal experience. Because you can do it without having to open your eyes. My eyes actually got opened afterwards. I had to start feeling the love first. And that's a whole different topic. That's the true part of faith, is to believe it without seeing it. And then that becomes a conundrum then, because you're like, well, how do I believe it if I don't know what it feels like? Well, that's when I used, you ready for this? The eyes of my mind. I imagined it. I envisioned it. I went back into my childhood and I'm like, okay, well, here's a scenario where I didn't feel love, and I envisioned it. And it's like, what would have happened if I was loved? How would this scenario have played out if I was loved, or felt like I was loved? So it doesn't matter how the eyes open. It's just, open them, damn it. Oh, and I forgot to make a joke. So now I'm at that part, we're going to go back to the rest. And now that these eyes are open, the eyes of my heart and the eyes of my mind, I can see, and I know this doesn't really make sense, but I hope it does. I can see what my heart has to say. Not hear, but see. So for instance, today is a rest day. I'm not going to do any work. I'm going to try my best not to. Anything that's productive, anything that I feel like I need to do, I'm not going to. Because my mind and my heart are both saying today is a day of rest. But if I couldn't see that opportunity, I bet you I'd go upstairs and just start working on something right off the bat. In fact, I saw this opportunity from the spirit of an opportunity to rest. And if I didn't have my eyes open, I wouldn't have been able to see that. It's really hard to talk about a system, in my opinion, that's so interconnected. Because then you could take this little section, it's like a world map. Kind of like a Skyrim skill tree. You look at the skill tree, because they use astrology. So when you zoom out of the skill tree, you see the whole skill tree connected by clusters of stars. But then you zoom in, and that specific star cluster has, oh, this is skill of magic. This is skill of, power, attack, fight, combat, So you zoom out and it all connects. But you zoom in, so you're trying to zoom into this really big picture, and you're just like, damn it. It's kind of hard. We're going to pull from the deck. I felt like doing so. The second I picked it up, I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I want to play with it. I want to use it. I don't even know if there's a message coming through. I just want to use the deck. What the hell is that? The High Priestess. And I forgot her name, but she's so cool. I love her. Her character is so cool. The High Priestess. So, I'm not even going to look at the book. I've been doing enough tarot. I feel like I'm connected to the energy. So we're going to try. The High Priestess. In here, in the show, she is actually the goddess of wisdom, or the deity of knowledge. They actually have to track her down as an important part of the story. And funny enough, even though she is the deity of knowledge in that show, she ends up actually fighting and becoming a badass. She ends up joining a war later on, being the power that she is, with the knowledge she has. So that is the energy we're embodying today, is the High Priestess. Is the knowledge knower, because that makes sense, the knowledge holder, but also being a badass. That's just, there's no other word for it, a badass. There it is. Nope, that's the Hierophant. Dude, I love I'm so glad I got this deck. It's sending chills through me. The kid in me is like, oh my god, yes. Oh, there it is. Her name is Aughra. That's right, Aughra. Upright. The High Priestess brings not only thirst for knowledge, but also a desire to help others learn and grow. That's what's funny. That's what I'm doing now. Welcome this energy like Aughra. Consider becoming a mentor to others, to share your insight and act as a guide. So if you're watching this video, it is possible you are also a teacher. I have been called to be a teacher just like you. That is why I'm here. That is why I'm channeling these messages. We learn something, and then we are actually taught to go out and teach it ourselves. Now, you want to go in as far as saying it sounds kind of culty? Yeah, that's fair. But honestly, and I hate talking like this because it sounds religious and it sounds cultish. It sounds occultish. But if you feel like you found a better way, why not share it with others? You don't have to push. Because obviously that's what caused religious wars, is they feel like their opinions were better than the others, and they were forcing it down their damn neck. But instead, be like, alright, you know what? I figured this thing out, and it worked for me. So maybe if I teach others my way of how I did it, maybe it works for them. Here's the truth though. Yes, that is good and helpful and needed, but it's not them trying to learn your way. It's you teaching them to find their way. You open the door so they can walk through. But then you just let go. You don't stay a teacher forever. Or you might stay a teacher forever, but you don't keep the same students forever. And you don't be a teacher, or you don't be a student forever. Obviously, you can't be a teacher forever because you have to learn. Every teacher is a student. But once you become a teacher, you will always be a teacher. Whether you know it or not. It's not an option. You get to be a teacher. I'm sorry. Unless you actively go out of your way and say, I'm going to step off this path and I don't want to do this, you're a teacher. Just accept it. And I'm going to end this video by thanking the universe. I feel like everything got out that needed to. I'm going to thank the universe this time, because I appreciate it. I take it for granted sometimes. You know, this ability to channel and be a teacher is amazing. This is so cool. This was a gift from the universe. I literally stopped at some random half-price books. I have not seen this at any of the stores anywhere, and I've looked. I've looked at all the tarot decks. So for this to just pop up, obviously that's a gift. And I thank you so much, universe. So it's a gift to be able to teach others as well. It's a gift to be able to learn. I suck. I don't feel like that's sought out. I sought out knowledge, which is a double-edged sword. But then I learned it, and I've been processing it, and I'm growing because of it. And now I'm being told to pass it on. So if anything you get from this message today, and I didn't even touch on this, I forgot to touch on it. Rest is whatever's resonant for you in this moment as well. So some days, rest for me is actually sitting down and drawing. Now, maybe I'll eventually sell that piece of art, I don't know, but do not sit down with the intent of, I'm going to draw this to sell it. No, rest. If you're going to draw, just draw because you want to draw. You draw because you feel like drawing. But most of the time, because I was going to make a joke of the universe is like, hey, dummy, you're safe, you're okay. Look at all this time, look at all this growth that you've done. You can sit down, it's safe to take a break. Process all this information. Basically, go sit the fuck down on the couch and watch some cartoons. But you gotta be careful, because then it could also be a distraction. Yes, that's great rest, but if you're constantly watching cartoons, you're not actually processing the information that you need to. Like I told you this morning, when I sat in that my chair with a cup of coffee, I was just processing information. I was just sitting there thinking, relaxing, meditating. That's it. So if you actually constantly distract yourself, that's not rest. That's not true rest. Yes, you're allowing your body to sit down and take a break, but you're not truly resting. So let me touch point on really quick what true rest is. It's the absolute truth of whatever is resonant to you in that moment. So yes, in that moment, drawing is resonant for me, and I get fulfillment from it. I'm not doing it to burn myself out. I'm not doing it to make a paycheck. I'm doing it because I want to. Now, what is rest for you? That is up to you. Say, for instance, I'm introverted. I can be extroverted, but I'm pretty introverted. My batteries tend to get recharged on introverted activities. However, I've been finding out there are certain extroverted activities that I want to do to recharge. And it's like, well, hold on, that doesn't make sense. I'm introverted. But it turns out certain things charge me in certain ways. So whatever's resonant to you in rest, that is what you'll get a charge from. So if you don't feel like sitting down and watching TV, you'll actually rest, maybe that's not for you. Maybe go sit down and read a book. Go sit in the bathtub and read. Just light up, well, actually, you need an LED or something, but we're getting off topic here. The point of the story is, do whatever's in resonant with you. When you feel like you need rest, listen to that message. And then the first thing that comes up to your mind, like, oh, I want to veg and watch TV, and that's all you want to do, then that's all you want to do. That's fine. That's okay. And then allow yourself to be okay. That's the part. That's the true rest, is allowing yourself to be okay with doing that act of nothing. Because then while you're in that act of rest, if you're not truly resting, then it's not rest. That's the point I was going to touch back on. Thank you, universe. One of my other guides actually called me out on it and said, hey, you laid on the couch and you took a nap and said, hey, universe, I rested, right? I'm done. The universe just, yes, Adam, you're done resting. Congratulations. No, you ding-a-ling. It's truly allowing yourself to rest. Dropping everything. That's what it is. Rest is dropping everything in that given moment and doing whatever it is that you're feeling called to do. And it's like, I feel it. I am still in arguing with myself, and I say argument. It's not an argument, but it's a retraining. Because like I said, I will get up and I will start working. But then my body or my mind goes rest. Sit down and rest. And I was like, no, dude, I'm in the flow. I'm working on something great, and I'm doing great, and I'm feeling it, and I'm in the flow. I don't want to stop this. And Spirit's like, no, it's time for a break. Go rest. I will physically have to, like, take everything and throw it down and be like, all right, I'm done. Not out of anger, just like, I'm not wanting to put it down. I'm not listening, so I'm going to physically drop it like it's effing hot and walk away. Trying to just, stop. Allowing myself to rest. Because rest is a conscious effort. That's the big point of the story, is consciously you have to rest. Because then it's just like it's traffic. Because even in my period of rest, I am working. But it's going with the flow of the rest. You're in traffic and you're moving. And you're great. But you're still resting. You're in your car and you're not moving. Your car is moving, your car is doing the work. And you're flowing. And that's how it feels to be in flow. You physically aren't really doing any effort, or that's how it feels. You are in motion. You are in flow. But then you hit a stoplight and you have to rest. And you stop. And you sit there. You're not trying to move at the stoplight. I am. I used to be. I'm those guys that's like, come on, go. Just change, A lot of us are like that. So while you're at the stoplight, you stop and you're just like, okay, I'm going to rest. And seeing with your eyes, seeing those opportunities. So like today, the rest of my day is going to be a rest day. I bought Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Jumanji. I'm going to sit my ass down. I'm going to have a movie day. And I'm not going to feel bad at all. Because that's what I feel like in my moment I want to do. But then, if I feel like getting up and drawing, guess what? I'm going to get up and draw. So, it's just really tuning into your inner guidance and trying to listen to it. Like I said, listening to your heart. What do you want? What does your body want for rest? What do you feel like you want for rest? And if you don't have the eyes of your heart open and know what you want and feel, I don't think you're going to be able to rest. You don't know how. I wasn't able to, because I didn't know what I wanted. And since I don't know what I want, that uncomfortable silence of, well, I know I need to rest, but I can't tell. And it's like, well, since I can't rest, I'm just going to get back up and keep working, No. It's like, come on. No. I literally bought $10 worth of junk food. And I'm going to go junk out. It's not healthy. But it's resonant to me in this moment. It's what I want. And damn it, I'm going to get it. I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to eat a bunch of crap. I'm going to watch some movies. And no, I'm not secretly going to go up there and do it. I was thinking about it. Anyways, hopefully this message helped you guys. This one I honestly could be sitting in my car for a while talking about it. Have a great day.